Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Nerd Night Roundtable. And I did forget to put in the link. We got a few stories today. One of the ones not being paid attention to. And we got making supper at the Hello Gorilla. With all the other news flying around, a little bit under the radar, the Los Angeles Lakers have been sold to the owner of the LA Dodgers for $10 billion. Kind of weird link did I send you? Did I send you the wrong link? Correct that. That should be the right link. Oh, yeah, I sent you the wrong link. Texas Dildo Massacre Gorilla. I don't know what you hang out doing on the weekends. That's your own time, Gorilla. Hey, Tig.
Petri dish. Otisburg. Good to see you.
How you doing? So, sorry about that. I was throwing around so many links. I guess I got the wrong one copied.
Otisburg.
Hey, it could have been Albuquerque. And hello, Captain. Captain, I believe you're still in the group that has access to the link.
Hey guys, how's my volume? I just messed around a little. The impression was that I had when I came in before was I might be loud.
No,
Help me out, crowd. Now I think I do. I think I was loud a minute ago. So I hear that the owner of the Dodgers is buying the Lakers.
Yes, he is for $10 billion.
I guess this means the end of dreams that they would ever return to Minnesota, huh?
Unfortunately. And now he officially owns the only two things that mean a damn in that city.
He owns Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom? I thought there was a law against that.
They don't mean shit. He has the Dodgers and the Lakers, and quite frankly, everything else in that city isn't really worth whatever change you have in your pocket.
Yeah, but he has to win a championship to cause a riot.
That might change. They're getting rid of LeBron because LeBron has like a year left.
He's coming to New York, is my prediction, by the way. Knicks. The Knicks are almost there. Give them LeBron. They'll win one championship. There's a lot of anniversaries coming up. I predict this, and you tell me what you think. If we had the money, we could prove this. The Mets will win next year on the anniversary of 1986, and then the Yankees will win the year after on the anniversary of 1927, their first World Series. Am I wrong?
Well, the 27 one is right because, well, baseball just loves that.
I think the Yankees will be given a World Series in 2027, but I think the Mets will be given one in 2026 because it is the anniversary of the 1986 World Series, and that's like baseball's favorite World Series for some strange reason. It's a real parody of the 1976 Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, I got the joke, Gorilla, but whatever. If you're interested in that sort of thing, that's your business. Your backside is your backside. If you mess around with that stuff, it's well, we don't judge you, but we don't want to know about it. But you are right about the Yankees in 27. Really
think the
doesn't
Mets
matter
next
what
year will
anything.
probably happen too. Like baseball likes that stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
they like
everyone in
that
New York
stuff,
would be
but
crazy.
the Mets, I don't think, are big enough generators to get that done.
The thing is that they are actually that good this year. People love the scrappy little brother team in New York, and if they don't win once in a while, well, what's the point of having them, right? I mean, that's the Dodgers left town so they could have their own city and be allowed to win. Although I think the Yankees probably won a few outright deservedly before baseball started, like, just sort of leaning towards giving them to the Yankees. I think that there was a real dominance a couple of times.
Maybe once or twice.
Probably
Maybe
in the 20s, probably in the 40s and 50s, the late 40s into the 50s, and then probably again in the 90s.
I'll give you
But
one of
then
the 90s.
I
The
think
rest
that,
is, we made money on this first one, and here you go.
I'll give it to you. In 1997, they were kind of allowed into the playoffs. You could see that they didn't really deserve it. It's a good thing they reformed that system.
Wisconsin's 3-cheese bacon wrapped. I'm going to assume you mean chicken, Gorilla, because if not...
would a cockin be a rooster, fried rooster? Rooster? Could it be rooster breast?
Yeah, let's go with that. Either that or Gorilla has a bunch of rainbow flags to explain away.
I think Gorilla would more have the progress one. I think that's more his speed.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think the rainbow is that's just a little bit too. That's very 80s and 90s, and it doesn't like. What are they fighting for anymore? The rainbow people are like, please take that weird chevron off our fucking flag.
Yeah, but the progress flag, he gets one free being in Minnesota. His governor just hands him out.
I understand that Gorilla took advantage of the government money to have not only a free Obama phone for getting it, but two years of a free Obama phone for getting that tattooed across his entire back. I'm trying to find out where to send my application to be a paid dissident, though. I want that job.
Oh, just go on to Craigslist and Reddit.
I wish that they would see some screenshots of them. I want to see it, but I did have I did have sort of a fun time watching the coverage of everything that happened. I didn't think it was so great, but at least it wasn't violent. That No Kings thing was real weird.
Yeah, maybe not violent where you were.
Yeah, Tim's right about this one. They should never have torn down the old Yankee Stadium. They were looking for an excuse for like 30 years. It was going to get torn down on right after 9/11 too, and that delayed it for like 12 years. The stadium as designed that they were going to build after they knocked down original Yankee Stadium. They first were going to knock it down in 01. Guess what the problem was, Germ? It was considered what do you call it? Like a quote terror magnet.
Kind of like every other building in that city.
Think of the dumbest thing you could do.
Just that's why they tore it down.
No, think of the dumbest. The new Yankee Stadium is not the plan they wanted. They had approved another plan, and it was in the west side of Manhattan. and you would have hit the longest home run in all of baseball right into the East River. No one would have ever been physically able to hit a further home run because the park would have been on top of a 20-story parking garage. A sky stadium, which honestly is cool as balls, but that idea went out
Yeah,
the window.
that's
That went out the
yeah. I can
window
see the problems with that
between the 10th
particular
and the 12th
design.
of September. Yeah. Well, it is honestly that is cool as balls. Imagine like hitting the home run and like it falls like 20 stories into the river. That would be so awesome. Maybe kill some boater.
Oh yeah, someone just rowing along, and all of a sudden, streaking down from the sky, and no more boat.
You know what? I'm gonna be honest. Don't try boating in the East River in the East River or the Hudson. It is fucking dangerous. It is just like swirling, whirling death. You wouldn't be able to sit in a boat off of the park like they do in San Francisco, or is it
Yeah,
Texas that has the lake next to the park?
it's San Francisco. It's right on the bay.
Oh, they have their own ocean. Way to go, San Francisco, guys. We're moving on up. I didn't. When did they get that? But anyway, that park that they can hit the ball out of, like you could never do that in New York. So it wouldn't matter that it was 20 stories down. Like no one would be able to like hold a position there. You couldn't kayak in it. People do row on the river, but they've got to know what they're doing. It's got to be like team rowing. It's a dangerous river. Did I mention it wasn't safe?
Yeah, just by the currents, and I imagine the pollution in it doesn't make it any more safer.
Because of all the various acts and the fact that the river runs so deep and gets dredged a lot, I would imagine that maybe because it's been so many years since the multi-year Superfund cleanup and some regulation of like dumping lead paint on fire right into the river and all in like Albany ceased and stuff like that, and Buffalo, they stopped doing that up there. The river's more about hydroelectric power now. We make most of America's aluminum. I miss having
Hey, girl.
rainbows over the house when we doodled as a kid. I want the rainbow back, damn it. You know, Gorilla, that's what I can count on you. Rainbows and unicorns are his true north. He's kind of like Mr. Mayweather from Star Trek Enterprise that way.
Yes, he is. Maybe minus a few 100 pounds of hair
There
and
you go.
masculinity in any way, shape, or form.
Well, Mr. Mayweather isn't that masculine.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Like, why did they have to make him not just one wooden, but childlike?
I think because honestly, they're like, we're on our last chance to fix the Star Trek thing. We've been siphoned down to one show. We had two at a time for the longest time. This sucks. What do we do? And then they were just like with Mayweather, they're like, he can't act, and they're like, nerf him now, nerf him now. Make him like, what do we do? Make him an intellectually inhibited Boy Scout type. Make him like his hero's the captain. We'll just work off of that. Maybe we could do something with it in a few seasons when his acting gets better. He sucks. He just sucks because it was he's okay in the episode 1 and 2, the movie. He might be the most comfortable person in his character, but his character is only called upon to one, express a sense of wonder, and two, have a very childlike and innocent conversation with, I think it's Trip. So it takes until episode six or seven when you realize that he can't say "I, sir" or anything well, and that they've kind of give up on him after like episode 10, I believe, is Detained.
Yeah, I believe you're right.
They don't want anything to do with trying to create that character anymore. He's failed too much, and I think that they were looking for big things in that episode where he was going to be, at a beat up party and stuff like that, and that it just didn't work out. They're like, he doesn't have the acting ability to put him in handcuffs. We don't have the acting ability to show him bound.
Oh, they censored you, Gorilla?
Did they censor you? Did you say like the word that Shran calls Travis, or the word that Shran calls Hoshi? Is that what happened?
You may have.
Oh,
That they let this one through.
because he's messing with the spelling and he spelled it wrong. right? The A should come first.
Yeah.
You know
If
what?
that's all the freaking AI needs to be fooled, they're pretty stupid.
It'll figure it out. It's just not. It's he's being considerate, but it was like obviously. I guess we should admit right now. Before the show, we Orwellianly took away all your self-expression by deleting all words of dissent. But yeah, you know what? It looks like I don't want us jumping into another freaking war, but it looks like it's gonna happen with the Iranians.
Yeah.
They've been they've
Surprisingly
been
enough,
check.
the U.S. has not actually done anything. He has moved stuff nearby and talked big, but technically, everything that has been bombed by Israel.
I predict a third party attacks us and blames them, and we attack them before we figure out it was someone else.
Maybe. Hello,
The
Lemon.
Hey Lemon, the Israelis wouldn't mind if we attack the Iranians now, would they? They might have a
Neither would
lot of people in New York who could do something for them, couldn't they?
the Saudis wouldn't mind it either. I'm
They're not too cool,
predicting
and they also might have a few people in New York.
they're more likely to go after the Iranians as part of
Why go after the Iranians if, like, let's say, like a series of car kaboom booms, is that the right way to say it? A series of kaboom booms around America, sustained for like a week, will draw a strike on Iran. They'll just get blamed, and there'll be war fever. The Saudis can easily engineer a strike against the Iran. Well, why should they do it if they can get us to do it? Is my thought, because I just don't think they're very nice guys.
no,
I
they're as
think that they would punk
Machiavellian as
us.
anybody.
I think they
But
hate the Iranians enough to lie to us, don't you?
but if they're seen taking part on the side of Israel, it makes them look a lot better, and they get more of a chunk of the pie in the rebuilding process.
Well, after they sustain a thing that gets us into the war, they can cut us a check or give us some free oil and say, look, we helped them. So it's a no lose, right?
Yeah,
They could
that's
jump in that
also
war. After we win that war, they could jump in like 3 days later. They're like, you know what? That really pissed us off too. And they're like, well, we're in Tehran. And they're like, we're with you. You know, it's like just the MBS calls up Trump and it's like, sir, we're with you, sir.
yeah. The crown prince down there though is looking to make big moves. He's the one who was pushing his kingdom on the Abraham Accords.
Forget him specifically. What I'm saying is a really serious possibility. We're in jeopardy from not just the Iranians themselves, but from all of their enemies who might want to manipulate us. Why not take a chance at it? If I hated them, I would.
We're already seen as really pushing hard on them, so there's no real need for that, and they're looking to buy brownie points.
I've seen my neighbors engineer situations where the other neighbors call the cops on the third party to solve a problem for neighbor number one more than a few times. I've seen a few people punk neighbor number two who wasn't involved to get neighbor number one out of the situation, get the cops in there without having to be, hey, what's up, watch your ex. Less than 225 so far on Iran, according to them. I don't know what that means. The Saudis will be like the eagle in Lord of the Rings, so they'll come in at the very end and help, and act like they did a fucking thing. Yeah, I'm talking like the Russians taking Sakhalin Island and saying that they fought in World War II in the Pacific. I think
That'd be
Gorilla and
like
Watcher X
Eagle.
are on to something.
Yeah.
I think they're on to something. And forget them. They're just my hypothetical. Someone could fucking manipulate us into striking the Iranians very easily right now. It concerns me. Not that I want to make this clear. I don't have any concern about the people of Iran in general. Their government doesn't care about them. They should overthrow it. I mean, I think they're human beings. I don't want anything bad to happen to them. But, I'm just saying, hypothetically, if someone was to attack us, we might just attack Iran and sort it out later.
Yeah. We kind of want to do that anyway, so any real excuse. But
This is why I think Amelia Earhart was part of the attack on Pearl Harbor. I think she gave them intel. I think she helped it. I think she led the raid. That's what I think.
there was a good number of years separating that, wasn't there?
It might only be like 2.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But I don't know. As far as conspiracy theories go, that's
She had to learn
an
Japanese.
interesting
Joe.
one.
All right, how about this then? JFK. I think he was the one who did it. I think he did it to himself.
Yeah. Yeah, in some ways.
You almost made milk come out my ass. No, I'm being serious. Like, I think, like, how come that's never been looked into?
Yeah, he shot himself from, what was it, 300 yards away, 400 yards away?
Why did no one look into whether or not he could hire someone just as easily as anyone else? They said his marriage was in trouble. Maybe he didn't want to live anymore.
Well,
also, I had heard
married
rumors
to
that
Jackie O, so yeah, that's a strong possibility he wanted out.
And what about that rumor that he was going to allow the mail to be free? That he was going to get rid of postage.
I think it's more the whole break up the CIA and scatter it to the wind.
Yeah, if you go back far enough, the political affiliations don't really matter, right? We got Democrats doing Republican-like things.
Yeah. And then vice versa.
Absolutely. We have a bunch of Dixiecrats who are just like anything but DEI related.
Well, yeah, you had LBJ, chief among them. He said we'll have those blanks voting Democrat for the next 1,000 years.
Yeah, but the thing is, LBJ is a DEI hire too. You can't tell me he wasn't intellectually inhibited.
Well, for a Southerner, he was pretty bright.
He was one of our dumbest presidents. He was from Texas, though, yeah.
He was a Southern Democrat. Of course he was dumb.
Yeah, I think he was a Roosevelt cabinet member. He's so old. What's going on? Is Admiral Teague saying that the post office is behind that? A mailbag was found on the grassy knoll. Yeah, a lot of people don't talk about this, but after the speech, where he talked about going to the moon, in remarks to the press, they asked him about, the price of stamps was going up, and he said, that's why I'm introducing an initiative to Congress that's going to make the mail free as the air we breathe, as free as the birds in the sky. Because he said, the mail was like the basis of commerce for America. And I think the idea that they wouldn't be able to dispute the packaging of or send back anything upset the hierarchy at the post office to the point that they began and initiated the conspiracy, which ended in what happened in Dealey Plaza. I do believe it was the post office.
Hey, everyone else was in on it. Why not the post office too?
I think that they were the initiators, but yes, all that stuff about the CIA and the FBI and the mafia, probably true too. I think it was everything but the stuff that we see in the movie JFK. That was like highly fictionalized and had nothing to do with what happened.
Yeah, that movie kind of sucks.
It's a fun movie. I like it, but it's not the truth.
Oh, yeah, not even close.
We saw a better version of it. The guy who shot JFK looked a lot like David Duchovny. Am I right?
Yeah, looked awful lot like him.
And his accomplice looked a lot like Agent Spinder.
A little bit too, yeah.
Yeah. That's who really shot JFK. That's who the shooters were. It was Mulder and Spinder. Or Mulder's father and the smoking man, as they were, right? That's who they're supposed to be, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that they used David Duchovny to play his own father. And then a couple of months later, they introduced this idea that maybe his father's actually the smoking man. And you're like, wait a minute.
But besides that, we do have a holiday coming up.
It's Juneteenth.
Yeah.
It's today.
No, it's tomorrow.
Well, I guess we can just hold on to this moment, right? The final moments of the Civil War. It is exactly 150, 60 years after. It was 160 years
Yeah, I
ago.
guess so.
Tomorrow. I just want to say, I don't fucking believe that story, although I would say this, if I was part of a breakaway nation that was not loyal to America, I might not give up on that. And if that breakaway nation were a totalitarian state, which it was, which had some fascistic overtones and tried to destroy the Union, which it shouldn't have, I might just cling to my bad ideas till the very end, right? I mean, these were not Americans who did this. The war was so long over to still be holding out. I mean, to blame this on American people is wrong. Am I right, Germ? If this is even true, this story.
Actually, I think they've proven the story was completely BS.
The only thing true about the story is, like, I think we fought our way to through the last resisting part of the Confederacy on this day. So,
Yeah.
by extension, it's possible that in that vacuole, and I don't know how big it was, it may have been state-sized, but in that last remaining cyst of the Confederacy, were there some people in bondage? I'm going to guess yes. What do you think?
Yeah, maybe.
You going to quit your bad ideas just because like, you know what? In Berlin, did they give up on their bad ideas in the last few hours of their regime?
No, of course not. There's people in Berlin still clinging to those ideas.
They're back in power. They've
Yeah,
been in power for a while.
Yeah, Angela Merkel's party.
Yep. They're
They
evil.
failed
Germ.
twice with world wars, but they got that bureaucracy thing in, and they conquered Europe finally.
Trade, too. They're really good with trade because they're ruthless and Machiavellian, those Germans.
Yeah.
I think Merkel's superpower was that she always dressed like the leader of a Star Trek planet. She always looked like a TNG head of state.
Yeah, because they always kind of dress like the head of the PTA.
Right, that, and if you had her with just her regular name, like lose Angela, but let's be like, can't you just see Picard? Like, Counselor Merkel, you have to understand. Right? I mean, she's very Star Trek ready. She's ready for Star Trek.
And she did kind of look like one of those aliens of the week.
She did.
She got that facelift.
One of the mostly human-looking ones.
Yeah.
But not totally human.
Yeah.
Rubber-faced aliens, are they called that? Jellyfish-faced aliens?
Yeah, that's one of the terms they used.
Later on, right at the end, before Voyager, we invent the nostril-faced alien with a lot of extra nostrils.
Oh, yeah, she had bad nostrils, too, so.
Yeah.
All she needed was one bad facelift.
She kind of looked like she was like a member of the Dominion.
Yeah, the Vorta is yeah, Vorta with a bad facelift.
So, I've been watching the Dodgers, who I understand have now merged with the Lakers, and I want to say, they have to stop confusing me, and they have to start getting some better announcers for the Dodgers. There's a guy named Andy Pages. He's their right fielder. They constantly misidentify him as Paez.
Yeah, that's okay. He's just the Dodger. Paez, Pages.
Yeah, his name
Might
seems
as well
to be
call him
Pages,
Joe
right?
Smith.
There's no marks over the letters, so wouldn't his name be Pages?
You'd think so.
You know that his Southern American teammates love him, right? It's like, hey, Jimmy Pages. Pages, what's your name, man? I'm allowed. I'm allowed.
Who's that?
I have Charlie Sheen dysphoria. I just don't look Latino, but I am. I am. I is. I are. I'd
Yeah.
also like to say Rachel Ziegler doesn't really look Latino to me. She looks like someone made an alien out of a Polish person. And I don't mean like immigration alien. I mean like, a gray.
Yeah, she is awfully skinny for human.
She has no curves. She has no curves at all. Nothing. She looks like a 12-year-old boy.
Yeah, it makes it odd that she was supposed to be the sex symbol of the new decade.
Newman was seen fleeing the bookstore depository, says Lemon Pie. That's probably true. I believe it. I saw Wayne Knight on the streets of Manhattan, and I said, hello, Newman. And he laughed real hard. He was cool about it.
Yeah, I'm sure he's used to that maybe 4 or 5 times a day.
He was walking down the street of one of the nicest parts of town enjoying being rich, right? It was like, what do I care?
Yeah. If he has to tolerate getting called Newman 5 times a day, that's just part of it.
Someone else said it like as they walked closer to him, and he high-fived the person. He didn't give a shit. He was laughing out loud the whole time walking down the street. And this is only about 10 years ago, so he had been Newman for like 30 years already. We have to remember that episode of Seinfeld was like in 1979 or some shit like that.
I actually don't think I ever really saw any of that for Seinfeld.
You're a little too young. The show starts in like 1989.
Yeah, I guess so. It's just never something that was on my radar.
It was a slow burn, right? It didn't cost much money. It was only an okay show. And then all of a sudden, like in the middle of like season 3, like there's 7 seasons, in the 3rd and 4th season, the show got so big and so funny that for those last 3 years, it sealed the deal for syndication. And then for its last 2 years, it was like just too big, and they had done everything they could do. So the show was actually started to make admissions over and over that it was too obnoxious and that their characters were assholes. And if you ever watch the last episode, they go to asshole jail for being assholes.
Yeah.
To people in Boston. They're typical New Yorkers.
It's not just people in Boston.
No, but that's where they went, where they got arrested and had to do like 2 years for rudeness.
Yeah. Fitting way to end. Especially
they having the same conversation they have in the first episode when it ends.
Yeah. I remember that ended because they turned down $1 million an episode, which at the time was record breaking.
Because they had been getting it for like 4 or 5 years and they didn't want to do it anymore, and they had reached an impasse with the Curb Your Enthusiasm guy. It was a lot harder to write the last couple of seasons, where the show kind of loses its way a little bit too. It's because Larry David moves on, and I believe he's a combination of George and Kramer in real life. Like he was Seinfeld's writing partner, and he moves on. And so it was really rough to write the last couple of seasons. But the thing is, by season 6 and 7, they had been getting that money for 2 or 3 seasons. So they were stinking rich. And they didn't care anymore. And Jerry was really stinking rich. If you notice, he hasn't done anything since. A B movie.
Yeah. But, when you got that type of money, why would he?
They say he might be a Scientologist with stuff to hide. He's a weirdo with the marriage. That marriage thing is fucking weird.
Yeah, how long has he been married?
He has
That
been with Jessica Sklar for like 25 years, 26 years, something crazy like that. Maybe more.
yeah, that's
So
just weird
like
for Hollywood.
they loved each other, but that was though it was even weirder though. She got divorced 2 weeks after getting married to be with him.
A little bit suspicious. Hey, Sith Dan.
I feel bad. Hey, sit down. I feel bad for the former husband who had to move out of fucking New York.
Hey, it's a good excuse to get out of New York.
You got off at oh, you got off of work early. Cool.
Yeah, yeah. If you're on your way
We
home, the link's in the group. You come on up.
we promoted you the other day. You came up in our discussion of the great Alex Kurtzman.
Great, maybe a bit of a stretch, but Dan did come
We
up.
You know what? It turns out that our report that it looks like he's fired, but we can't tell. I mean, we were always going to be right because we phrased it carefully, but like it looks like we have justified the decision to go public with it because we were the first ones to say it looks like he's done. In the time since we've said he's done, 3 months afterwards, all of the cartoons were announced over. 6 months afterwards, the Discovery ends, and then last week and yesterday, renewed and canceled is the same thing as ended. Alex Kurtzman was doing exactly what Germ and I said. He was making as much Star Trek as fast as he can to try to swing the balance in his favor. And I think what happened was Section 31 was one slap in the face too many. I do believe that the Ellisons went to the White House. I do believe that they talked to their friend about their investment. I do believe Star Trek came up, and I do believe he made comments about it. I don't think he's legislating on it, and I don't think he cares, but I think that, like, if my rich friend came over and he was bitching about, like, I have a baseball team and my pitcher is got a bad ankle, I might remark about it too. It's no different. I'm trying to buy Paramount and Star Trek is a mess. Am I right?
Yeah, if you got friends in high places, you're gonna get them to talk on your behalf.
And this president tends to verbalize his thoughts, which is not a bad thing to say.
No, it's very entertaining,
Uh,
especially lately.
yeah, it does tip his hand. It makes it hard for him to be strategic, but he does verbalize his thoughts.
Oh, it doesn't really tip his hand because he says 5 different things in the course of a day. He gets everyone scratching their head.
The thing is, if he comes up with 8 or 9 different possibilities, he'll cycle through a third of them. Like, he'll try a third of them. If he has a chance to come up with 9 different ideas, he'll try 3 of them before he comes up with the one he likes. He will just do that. I'm not saying it's
Yeah,
bad.
it's
We've seen it.
yeah. It may be bad, it may be good, but it
It's
certainly
the way
is
he works.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? He's still a better choice than the other person who was running. Either one of them.
You mean the Weekend
The
at Bernie's with the
replicant and the
alcoholic?
chick. The replicant and the chick, yeah.
Yeah, that was a hell of a choice. You got someone who's got one and but actually both feet in the grave.
Right.
And you got someone whose blood alcohol level is somewhat higher than Ireland.
Hi, Dad.
Hey, Dan.
Hello, guys. How's it going?
Yeah, not too bad.
All right.
So tell me, do you guys know how long Richard Ziegler's fame lasted for? Like, Hollywood has been building her up for the past 2 years. How long did her fame last, roughly?
Well, she might have had she might have gotten lucky and been able to stay famous if not for the lockdown. Is that the right way to say it? Because what
Yeah.
happens is she has a movie come out that fucking fails. They blame the movie failing on the lockdown, but apparently in the movie she can sing and dance. And I saw Snow White, so I'm not crazy about her, but she can sing and dance. Okay, she can. She just can. She's an okay singer, and she can sing and dance. So That movie sits around for 2-3 years. She's in 2 flops that probably would have been in the end for her. Some horror movie no one saw, and West Side Story flops, even though she can sing and dance. So it looks like she's bound for like a smaller career on Broadway. Whether it was carefully using her PR or incautiously using her PR, she might forever have a career, a smaller career, but guaranteed money doing the Wizard of Oz, Snow White on gay cruises and things like that.
All right,
Because
and
they're politics.
and German, before I officially set up, are you doing cross streams again? Are you allowing it?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
All
The
right.
only rule is if you hive off the stream, you have to use different pronouns until you stop. So you're they them until you're done, and you have to agree to it so that we don't get in trouble. Okay, they them sis then.
Yeah, you're our diversity shield.
Yeah, no, fuck you. I'm the fucking minority around here. I'm intellectually disabled and I'm Latino.
Well, are you Latino? Or you did say once or twice you are a Cuban, unless I misheard you.
Yeah, no, I'm Latino.
Okay, so we got 2 diversity shields.
I mean, I look like this, but like I would point out that like Martin Sheen is twice as Latino as I am, and I would point out that Cameron Diaz is twice as Latino as I am. So,
Hey, Daniel.
hey,
Never
Dan,
saw Snow White. Heard it wasn't that good.
if you have Disney Plus or access to it, it's worth watching just to see the depth of what happened because it really is that bad. It is absolutely mind-blowingly terrible. Yeah.
I will say this. I will criticize Daniel here, but he's ever the eternal optimist. He's optimistic to the point of naivete. He'll watch anything, even as a bad reputation, say it's okay to good, even though it's bad.
I disagree with that. I don't think he's that bad. I don't think he's that indiscriminate. He does like a couple of things I don't like, but I don't think it's totally indiscriminate.
Not being inclusive.
Yeah, I am not Latinx. I am not Latin. I don't want to go crazy on the term on Germ's channel because I don't know what it would mean if I started saying it was, not so great. So, I'm not from Latin 10. How's that? I'm not from planet Latin 10. And I think that it's, Gorilla, thank you for giving me a chance to say it. This stupid fucking word that was not made up by any kind of wordsmiths or any experts in English or Spanish has taken gender out and made a trans sort of word out of a term for an entire ethnicity of people which spans the entire globe. It's everyone where the Spanish used to be. So even Asian people can be Latino. There are Filipino Asian people who are Latino. And so to paint them with that broad brush is offensive. And that is also why I find Rachel Ziegler very offensive, because as I turn on my camera again, it's like, she's going to speak on behalf of white-skinned Latino people.
Oh, come on. She's not light-skinned. She's not.
No, she's humpbacked.
She does seem to have her eyes pretty far apart. I'll say this, though. I mean, like, I'm as Latino as she is.
Yeah, her Latino-ness doesn't really matter. I'm a little bit more distracted by the slight little dip on her back and the fact that one of her eyes is
no, she does look like there is something going on with her spine where it's bulging out of her. You know what it is? She looks like one of the cast members from Ally McBeal from The Height of the Run, where they all got into a contest to see who could starve themselves the most. And they all started to look like different forms of reptiles. Remember that? When the Ally McBeal women started to look reptilian and Courtney Thorne-Smith's back came out. Like, that's what's going on. Rachel Ziegler I think she's got maybe body dysmorphia. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but she is so thin. She looks unhealthy. I think that she needs to eat.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but her spine ends about 3 inches higher than her neck.
So
she's also really, really, really short. So she's going to be like one big El Hundaga, which means meatball one day.
So then tell me, Germ, with that theory, do you think she's
Hi, Enigma.
You think she's a robot for an alien?
No, it's probably
No,
just a result
Victim of-
of oops, the
Vic-
condom broke.
I don't know about that, but I will say this: she's a victim of the woke mind virus, and it's a shame because she can sing. And I guess if I had to again spell it out, like she has obnoxioused her way to permanently having a niche, and sometimes like Broadway might put up with her, but if she sustains it, like for instance, like doing stuff like during the workday, like between shows, that would be start to be seen as insulting, and very quickly people would turn on her. But the thing is, New Yorkers don't have to like you for you to be on Broadway because New Yorkers see you a play like once every 10 years. It's the tourists who come here. It's 95% tourists at every play. So people come to New York, they want to see Snow White, then they find out Rachel Ziegler's in it, so it won't affect her. You know what I mean? Like, well, she can sing. That's what'll happen, and she might get booed. But I mean, if she has a bad day, if she says
Yeah.
something crazy and you
They'll
hear about it
forget.
before you get there.
They'll see the marquee, they'll see her name on it, and it'll be probably halfway through this video. Oh, this chick was actually in the movie too, and they'll
And that's all they'll
not
think.
give a crap. Yeah,
Yeah, they'll be like, "Oh, she's made to sing. This is the perfect role for her."
yeah. That's what happened to her after that disaster.
And then at 40, she'll switch roles.
Yeah.
Do, do you think she was always an activist to get in Hollywood, or did Hollywood in the series just egg her on, saying, you know what, if you become an activist, you'll get all these roles? I would say it's probably the latter of both options.
She was with Disney, where they're doing that stuff. We have seen this happen to every single actress in a Disney movie. And I think was Wicked Disney, because that Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande did the same crazy shit.
Wicked, I believe, was Warner.
They were
Yeah.
both a mess from making that movie. What the fuck happened to them?
Yeah, and I would say this, there's a rumor going around on the internet about that black chick that's going to play Jesus. Wonderful. Oh, a black African-American Jesus female. Wonderful, ain't it?
Oh, great! That's
It ain't
not
fucking
going to be a total
happening.
disaster.
It ain't gonna fucking happen. If it does, it'll be like budget Poverty Row. It'll be made for outrage clicks. What is it? A female Jesus Christ superstar because she can sing? And I googled,
think
she's
so.
married to a fucking man. I did not think she was on our team.
Yeah, that's surprising. Yeah, for all your Wicked needs, wicked.com. Be 18 or older.
Yeah, and the same goes for Rule 34, ladies and gentlemen.
I still can't believe they didn't actually secure that domain name before they actually started printing it.
Yeah,
How stupid can you be?
For
I
which
think
one?
the deal was it was both Wicked and there was another movie that had the problem. But you know what it is? The play has been around since the 80s, which is, it cuts both ways, right? They knew it was going to be good because it's been succeeding since the 80s.
Yeah. But you put a porn website on the side of your children's toys, and you just assume that you own the website.
I will say this. A company that owned that website probably was going, gee, we're getting a lot of big hits now for some reason. Why is that? Oh, maybe this play is doing an accident promotion for our website.
I don't know. They were doing okay before. They're actually bigger than the movie. So
And
they
that
just
chick,
pointed
what's her
and
name?
laughed.
Isabella Grande, Marianne Grande, Mariana Grande. She needs to fucking eat too. Her fucking spine is popping out of her back.
Yeah, she's a skeleton. She looks like she is bleached. That hair and
She does look like she was dropped in harsh chemicals. So does
yeah.
Pam Anderson these days. But yeah, what the hell is her
Well,
name?
Pam
Like,
Anderson was.
what the hell is her name again? That fucking crazy weird chick. Mariana
The
Grande,
yeah,
right?
Grande.
Mariana Grande. Cafe Latte Grande.
Yeah, close enough. She looks like she's 12 years old, anorexic, and is repeatedly dipped in bleach. Nothing surprises me anymore preparing to those types of things. Come on. HBO. You guys remember the HBO TV series and movie, The Golden Compass? Huh, I don't remember that one. Know how they got canceled when it came
Yes, I
time
do.
for the second book. I don't remember ever hearing about it.
Well, I have seen a review of the Golden Compass by this YouTuber called the Dominic Noble, which
Yeah, the show was good.
well from that YouTuber. I watched the movie version that came out in 2000 something. I'm not sure when the movie came out, but he did a book review for that movie. He said that they ruined the book to movie adaptation. And I'll just come out and say it. The Dominic Noble, if you ever search him up, he has gone moderately to TDS syndrome in his recent reviews, because he did review some, in his viewpoint, some far right or right wing books in his reviews.
It's unfortunate when a promising YouTuber suffers from TDS.
Well, and he is British, so that is another factor against him.
Yeah, that never helps. Doesn't necessarily hurt, but it doesn't really help. It goes against Christianity directly desiring to kill God, which is stated directly in the second book. God has a very talented way at destroying the lives of the prideful and those who want to mock Christ. I won't worry too much about the woke agenda.
Hi,
Hey, I think the
Suzanne,
woke
by the way.
agenda is kind of dropping off. And hello, Suzanne.
The woke agenda is dropping off. There does seem to be stuff in the pipeline. I've now seen 2 movies that were de-wokeified on the fly. They weren't very good. They had problems. And you could see by the second time they de-woke the movie, they were a little better at it than the first, but they still have too much wokeness baked right in.
And let me guess, probably one of those movies was The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. They tried,
That
but
one was well, they got it all out, but the thing was the movie was then just a wreck. The movie was a shambling zombie-ish mess. It had no heart and no brain. It was really fucking stupid. It had set pieces that made no sense. It had what looked like it could have been the end fight happen 3 times, and then the end fight ends in a negotiation? Okay.
yeah, that never made sense to me.
I would say this, that I would agree with T on this. The woke agenda is on its way out, but it's still around and probably has a few more years left in it before it completely burns out. I mean, it mostly has burned out. It still has a few more years left in it, which means we will get, I would say, probably by the next presidential election, the woke agenda will be completely burned out by then, probably.
Look, there's an
Yeah,
election
it
in my
generally
town
is
right
3 to
now.
5 years for the cycle
There's
to
an
sort
election in
itself
my
out.
town right now.
Oh
Nobody's
yeah,
running,
you
and
got the what is it? The gay Muslim communist
yeah, I'm not
guy
voting for
is
him.
leading the
But
poll.
I'm not fucking voting for that guy. But it doesn't matter if he wins because Cuomo just has to get the most second place votes.
Well, if it keeps the commie out of office,
I'm
I
calling
guess
it
it's
now.
worth
Well,
it.
no, this is not the election yet. This is the primary.
How do you run a primary with a tiered balloting system?
God only knows. I think 3 and 3 go against each other at the end.
It's freaking insane. You might as well pull a name out of the hat.
And then on the same ballot, you'll have a tiered ballot where it's the same guy running on all 5 tiers on all 5 parties. Gee, I
I'm
guess I
glad they
want to
made
vote
that
for this judge on the
unconstitutional there.
conservative line.
Yeah, that's absolutely nuts.
Oh, wait, let me vote for him as a communist. Yeah, no, it makes no fucking sense. We also had 5 people will be elected. Pick any 5 last time. Pick 5 of 5, and there was only 5 choices. Why even do
Yeah,
it?
the illusion of choice. That's where you put the right in vote. Fuck you, none of the above.
I now strategically vote against.
Yeah.
Or want to vote for yourself instead. Take for office.
That's a scary thought.
You've compared me to Trump in my use of social media. I'm very
Well, yeah,
presidential.
that is one of your better public habits.
Thank you. Just saw How to Train Our Dragon live version. How to Train Your Dragon live version. It was nearly a frame for frame repeat of the original, and the reception has been very positive. The movie is very non-woke. Good news there.
Yeah,
That is good news. That means it'll probably make its money.
I believe so. I've heard nothing but positive reviews for the live action. I believe it did quite well in the box office this last week too.
The only fly in the ointment I could come up with that one, Germ, is could it backfire because this movie's so soon?
Actually, it's not as soon as people think. They made like 4 of the
last
cartoon
one,
movies,
the
and they
last
have
one,
2 series.
Yeah. The thing is, the original How to Train Your Dragon, the first one, only closed in theaters about 6 weeks ago.
Their
The
first
first one
movie
was
had
released like 2003.
it wasn't that. It was somewhere in the mid or late 2000s when the first movie came out.
I believe it was 2010.
The people who were children when they saw it haven't had time to have children, really. Not a lot of them. You
Well,
gotta
in
be
this,
moving really fast.
well, Teague, in this economy and this social order right now, of course, no kids we're gonna have in this climate right now.
Oh,
I
it
wasn't
was
gonna have
15 years
children.
ago. So, say you went
Really?
to it when
Not
you
that
were
long.
15. Yeah, if you're 15, if you're hell even 10, you have maybe a 2-year-old at home.
If
If
you're
you saw it
lucky.
when you're 10, you've only been out of college for 18 months.
Who's really going to college in this economy? You're 25 years
That's
old.
true.
Yeah, you got a 3-year-old kid at home.
By the
At
time
least
you're
you should.
25, you're working on those grandchildren. You're right.
Either that or
My other family members had kids by the time they were in their mid-20s. I was the only one who fucking bought condoms.
See, if the masses can start developing a bigger backbone, that's questionable. We can definitely start mo- moving in a much more positive direction. I agree with that. Uh, we just have to speak up, and especially voting with our wallets.
Yeah, first step on that one might be hold off until you hear from your favorite critics about Superman and Fantastic Four. Superman seems like the bigger threat to accidentally make so much money that we end up making another one or something. Because this just, I heard that after they chopped a half hour out of it, the movie was better.
Yeah, and that interview that Gunn gave to what was it, Variety or whatever website he just did,
Is that where he said
sounded
he didn't like
relatively
children?
promising.
Is that where he said he didn't like Children in America Sucks? Or was that like a couple years back? He's moved on from that now, right?
That was several years back.
Yeah, he
This
was
is
kind of
where
a
he
dick every time I read about what he said.
he basically threw Disney under the bus and
Oh, good.
accused them of running through projects without a script.
Gee,
Gee, and that's
So
true now.
what what a wild accusation.
How to Train Your Dragon 2 is already in development. That's good news. As well as Din Receive 3. I never saw the first couple of them.
I will say this: I never seen the live action How to Train Your Dragon. I probably never will because I like the cartoon one better.
Yeah, the cartoon one was surprisingly good. I'll have to give the live action one a try. If it's that much related to it.
Well, I have seen a YouTuber that does his honest review on it. Depending on how you find the chemistry between the characters, well, do you want minor spoilers or do you not really care for spoilers for the movie?
If it's shot for shot, there's no spoilers to give.
I've heard you don't choose your dragon chooses you.
All right, well, if Trim doesn't really care, I'll tell him a little more spoiler that this YouTuber gave in his review. The two main characters, Hiccup and Astrid, like in the cartoon, they had chemistry and some action with each other. From what I hear in this live action, there's none of that. No chemistry whatsoever.
Yeah, that's understandable. That's an unfortunate side effect of them both being young in this movie. 20-year-olds and even some 30-year-olds, they just don't have any chemistry with the opposite sex. They, no matter what you do, that they just look stupid when talking to a woman. It's not a flaw of the story itself. I think it's just the unfortunate side effect of the Gen Z and Gen Alpha. There's no charisma there.
This is what happens on a set with an intimacy coach where they say, okay, we need to shoot the scene now. And when the male actor comes in, if he makes a quip, the female actress says, that's a microaggression. I feel very uncomfortable. And they have to call in the intimacy coach and the counselor and have a 4-hour meeting with the entire set before they go back and try it again. That's why there's no chemistry. The male actor walks in and is like, I love you, and holds his hands out like a robot. That's what happens now.
And that's what passes for charisma for young people these days. I hope you enjoyed The Human Race. Ain't no one ever gonna have children again because ain't no guy ever getting laid who's younger than the age of 20. That
Not in this
generation
day
just
and time,
ain't gonna
my
be
brother.
able to. They're just never gonna be able to talk to women enough to the point where they're going straight to the sex box the second they're invented.
Well, women won't have to. Women will be able to get sex from humans.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the women can't replicate on their own, and all the guys are basically they think they're too good for them, and the guys have no confidence. They have no charisma whatsoever, so they're just gonna cry to themselves in silence and buy a Marilyn Monroe robot.
What I find incredible is that both Megan Fox and Charlize Theron, all of their children are trans. What are the odds, huh?
Yeah, very, very,
Three
very.
each.
3. Holy shit. I thought they were only abusing 2 of them.
No, Charlize Theron has 3 children. I don't think she's abusing them anymore because I think one of them's like 30, bro. Charlize Theron's like 56.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she looks great.
That does remind me of some good news. The Supreme Court is either today or yesterday. They found in favor of the state of Tennessee that they upheld the ban on gender-affirming care for children.
It's
It
not
is
a
now
state, it's a commonwealth.
Whatever.
So it doesn't count. It's only in the state, not in the commonwealth. Okay, so that now you're not allowed to use that as a defense.
Exactly. It is not an inherent civil right for a child to have gender-affirming care. So any state in the nation can theoretically pass a ban for minors to not be able to have any of that treatment.
If you think that that's a bad idea, how about this one then? My child identifies as a smoker. That's why my 6-year-old smokes.
That is one of the logical trains they went down for that.
What, that 6-year-old smoke? I mean, that was supposedly a problem, like, back in the 19th century when children had to fucking have jobs.
Yeah, but the whole thing about a child choosing, that's one of the examples they've used in court about if a child says
they lack capacity to make a decision. They cannot serve in a jury. They cannot buy cigarettes. They cannot buy alcohol. They cannot get a tattoo. They cannot change their gender. Get the fuck out of here. I know that the law of the land would disagree with me, and this may not be a popular take, but if you are helping your kid get gender-affirming care that changes their gender, I mean, I'm not talking about taking your daughter to buy a dress and fucking, makeup if she was born a girl. I'm talking about, like, giving them fucking hormones and changing, like, nature's verdict. You're a sick fuck. I want you in jail. That's me, though.
Exactly. If you are doing any of that sort of stuff to your kids, you are abusing them as bad as any other person.
You're an egomaniac.
Yeah.
You're out of your mind, and you're just trying to win a coolness contest with yourself. Fuck you for that.
Because if you do that, you are destroying their endocrine system. You are promoting several different types of cancers. You're essentially cutting about 20% of the end of their life off.
I think
because if you do,
don't you think the cancer would be a blessing with the life they have to live? Don't you think they'll be like, thank God?
It'll be a way out at that point. They cause so many troubles for them. They've been on medicine for their entire freaking life.
Yeah, I got another look at Elon Musk's, quote, daughter, who was his son. That is a best case, and that is still strains credulity when the speaking starts.
Yeah, that's always the creepiest part.
I think we have to say she anyway, but she passes for a very tall, kind of masculine-looking woman. If Frosk is a woman, so is that. But that's a best case. We're talking how much money, right? Also, I believe Elon Musk was like, F you until you're an adult on that one. But who knows? He abandons his kids to crazy woke mothers and just throws money at them. He might be the father of Amber Heard's baby.
That is a questionable.
He has terrible taste.
Fathering technique.
He has terrible fucking taste in women.
Don't know. Gonna see James Gunn Superman. Still upset about WB canceling Man of Steel 2 with Henry Cavill.
If they weren't going to get a new writer, they shouldn't have done it. And where was Man of Steel 1? Man of Steel Birth of what is it? Man of Steel Birth of Justice or some shit like that. Like we have such a hurry up and jump into the middle of the story habit over at Warner Brothers and DC. They will not give a proper origin tale. Not since Batman '89.
I will say this: the Man of Steel movie, which is what Tiga's talking about, that came out in 2013, I think it was. That was a bad Superman movie, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's that director that did that? Because that is
Zack
not
Snyder.
Superman. That is not a Superman movie. That he should have changed the superhero name from Superman to Batman, and that would have made more sense. Like it's a Batman
What was
movie.
weird was in his Batman Superman movie, he showed he didn't really understand Batman either. Batman is basically the Punisher in Snyderverse.
He took a job that he didn't understand and was never qualified for.
Christopher Nolan figured he could pull it off if he just sent his screenwriter over there with him, but both of them went crazy on their own, Snyder and Chris Terrio. And that world was supposed to be part of the Dark Knight world, and no one wants to think of it as part of the same world. It's too terrible. The Nolan verse and the Snyder verse are not the same verse.
Well,
the Nolan verse ended horribly.
The Nolan verse didn't end too good.
Yeah, that last movie was pathetic.
The only thing we could say about the last movie was great performance by Tom Hardy. Bane was fun. Let's admit it. Bane was fun. The Batman story was so dumb it wasn't even believable. But Michael Caine's charm and acting ability at the end gave it a little bit of a, I would say, like points for normality for trying to have an ending to your story rather than just keep on going. But then he buys that back with those Snyderverse movies that he blesses and sort of says are his. It takes until the second one comes out where people just massively reject it. But technically, the Nolan verse is the Snyder verse.
And I will say this: well, you guys probably already know this a long time ago, but I would say Zack Snyder showed himself as a hack with Rebel Moon, with that movie series. Yeah, people will say that was where Zack Snyder fully went all downhill, basically down the cliff or down the drain all the way. That showed his true colors for everyone to see. And I mean, even his fans have a hard time defending him for that movie series. They're having a hard time defending him.
This is what happens. Every time there's another Zack Snyder movie, there's just less fans and less people defending him because it is that hard of a case. And with every movie that comes out, he sort of reconfirms everything that's wrong with him. And every interview is just like a batshit generator. Germ, did you see the one where he said he didn't know if he was going to make a porno movie, a Jesus movie, or a Jesus porno movie?
I've seen something similar to that, yes.
And then he did the idea, finally, his last idea he spitballed was a Jesus prawn movie that was also The Fountainhead by Ayn Rand mixed together into one movie.
He must be on the nicest mushrooms.
What happened to his daughter doesn't mean he is allowed to make nonsensical movies. It's just a terrible tragedy that we all feel bad about. But the bottom line is Zack Snyder can't hire a good screenwriter. And he is the single most pedantic filmmaker of all time. It takes 35 minutes for anything to happen. When his characters walk up the stairs, we see them open the door. We see them walk into the first flight. We see them walk every step. We see it from two angles. We go slow motion. Then we hear the footsteps. Then we hear inspiration music. Then we see everyone's eyes. Anything that doesn't happen on screen doesn't happen, too. People are paused when they're off screen.
From what I hear, Zack Snyder is both a director and a writer, unless I'm wrong about the writer part, because from what I hear, he's
executive producer kind of writer. He has screenwriters, they're just not good.
Well, my point is that from what I hear, if you want to blame Rebel Moon, he basically wrote Rebel Moon himself, unless he had a shadow writer to help him polish his script. But
that might have been true, but
he wrote Rebel Moon himself. He did and directed it.
But it was a 7-hour story with a plot ostensibly the same as A New Hope, so. How is that 7 hours? A New Hope is like what, 1 hour 57 fucking minutes?
Yeah, you went kind of nuts on that.
6 goddamn hours, 3.5 hour freaking installments. It was fucking maddening. So what happens is every time there's another Zack Snyder movie, there's less Zack Snyder fans. And also Zack Snyder's kind of a dick. I hate to say it. If you want to see a movie ruined by left-wing activism, watch anything by Disney. If you want to see a guy who does not understand his right-wing activism, watch Zack Snyder's Superman movies where he tries to put Randian qualities into Superman. Randian Superman doesn't work. His Superman saves no one but Lois. Because Zack Snyder believed that people should not be shown being helped. Zack Snyder is a weird, wacko, woke, right-wing guy. I'm being honest. You don't want to subscribe to his politics either. He doesn't know what he's talking about. But he thinks he's a right-wing guy. I'm being honest.
Well, from what I saw in Man of Steel, Zack Snyder, he had Superman destroy an entire city. I mean, I do get it. He was going for gritty realism in that movie, but
he doesn't understand Superman 101, though, because what Superman does, Germ knows this too, is like, what's Superman's first move in every conflict like that, guys? We all know it. He antagonizes them enough to lure them to the edge of the city. Every time. Or into space. Anything but fight by the people. That Superman's just like, Krypton had its chance and throws them into a building. I mean, the amount of casualties in Gotham. We saw, and the other thing was this, that movie was what, 2014? So yeah, it's 13 years after 9/11, but it's like, how many structural collapses do we have to watch? And the people of Gotham are the stupidest people in the world. Like, no realism was applied to this movie. No one sat down and thought through the movie. They run from one structural collapse to stare in horror at the next one. They wait for it to completely collapse. Then they all scream and run in horror to another building where they stand again and watch that. It goes on for like half an hour.
And for what I hear or saw in that movie, I always seen Man of Steel a few times in rewatches, but in that movie, Superman Clark Kent, you guys may agree or disagree with me with this. He was a lot more reactionary when it comes to events around him, and he was very of a hermit in that movie. He was.
Yeah.
Because he thought he was an alien. He didn't see. The thing about Superman that people understood was, I guess, Germ, help me out here, because I might fumble it. So I'm going to say it, and then you try to clean this one up. But I think I have it right. Ready? Superman considers himself an Earthman and even a human, although he realizes he's a Kryptonian. But in his heart, he is the son of Jonathan and Martha Kent, not Jor-El. He is not like his true identity is not Kal-El. That's just a facet of Clark Kent, who is the real person.
Yes, Clark is the dominant part.
And he's not an alien. In his mind, he's not an alien. He's not an alien in his mind. He's an American.
Yeah, he is a normal Kansas boy from Smallville, son of Martha and Jonathan. That's how he thinks of himself. The whole alien stuff is just extra.
It's part of his backstory, like any adopted person. But to him, it starts when the Kents pick him up on the road. That's when Superman's story starts, not on Krypton. It's just that there's some other people. Like, does he get a chance to go to the Fortress of Solitude and change that a little bit? Yeah, but I mean, Superman had been around for a while before they came up with that kind of lore. Superman considered himself one of us, more than maybe first among equals would be the way Superman sees himself. Like, he has more responsibility than you or I because he's stronger than you and I, and he can protect you or I. And he won't change our destiny, but he'll let us live it out. And he'll try really hard not to kill while he does it. But if he has to kill, he will. He's not Batman. And Batman will kill too.
I will say this. I just hope I thought the parents didn't fill out the right paperwork to say he was born here illegally.
Well, if you notice in the movie, Dan, the ship comes straight down from space and doesn't cross over any borders. So Krypton was facing Earth when he was born, which means that he was born in American airspace and is therefore an American, right? Germ, am I right? Right? Yeah.
It's close enough.
And by the way, the lack of truth, justice, in the American way is a fundamental change of Superman, so I'm calling him Super Person. I don't consider anyone who doesn't say truth, justice, in the American way is Superman. And I didn't consider Snyder's Superman. Man of Steel showed what he thought he was. He was an alien who identified as an alien, who thought of himself as an alien, who thought of humans like ants, who didn't care. And Zack Snyder's crazy, misunderstood 65 IQ attempt to be a right-wing woke activist, woke bay, where he was not going to show Superman being compassionate or heroic and didn't show anyone being saved except Lois 5 or 8 times. Think of all the sequences in that movie where Superman has saved people. It's already over when we step there. He doesn't want to show it. It goes against his political beliefs. Zack Snyder's a fucking fruitcake.
Yeah, he doesn't. He has a fundamental misunderstanding of what these characters are and probably what most of life actually is.
And politics.
Yeah.
We feel bad about his daughter. No one deserves to have that happen. And the biggest victim, of course, is her. It's just a terrible tragedy. But you know what? That kid was still fine when he was making terrible movies. I don't want to, let's not give him an excuse. The Snyder fans like to come after you with that, too. But, there's just not many Snyder bros left anymore. When Rebel Moon 2 flopped, Rebel Moon 1 was so fucking stupid. Remember when Doomcock talked about it and the rest of his panel, just scoffed at him? They're like, come on, man. And he's like, oh, yeah. Don't you think you can give him credit for doing something different? And they're like, we do, but that was enough credit to watch it. Now we have to say it really was terrible. And he's like, you thought it was that bad? And they're like, yeah, Doomcock. He's like, guess I was just excited for something new. And now he's even backed off of Man of Steel and BVS being good. He says they're just spectacular, not really good. But Doomcock's a pop culture revolutionary, not a movie reviewer.
And I will say this about oh, go ahead, Jeremy.
No, I was going to change the topic. I forgot something left on it.
All right. Well, I was going to say this. Yeah, Zack Snyder does not understand Superman at all. I mean, I've seen Superman in some old cartoons I watched online. Superman is not what Zack Snyder does for Superman. He does not understand the character at all. And I would say Zack Snyder is, to a degree, a nihilist when it comes to his movies and all that. Because there is a degree of darkness and nihilism in his movies. There is.
Yeah. And like Daniel says, in the animated series, Superman, the only thing he destroyed was parademons. And parademons didn't really count as sentient. So he is supposed to be a demigod Boy Scout, essentially.
Yeah, Snyder-Man, Superman kills Zod and a few others. The thing is, he shouldn't have felt bad about killing Zod because Zod had killed. I mean, the movie makes it seem like no one got hurt, but we saw that attack on that city. Gerb, considering it was a Manhattan-sized area, what do you think? Hundreds of thousands, if not a couple of million.
Yeah, at least.
It was
because those buildings are full and they are collapsing left and right.
And and when we do finally get to see something, they try to sort of for instance, when Superman and Zod fly through the side of the Denny's, and it's just massive destruction, and they're the only place where there just doesn't happen to be anyone. The place is packed except the table they roll through, the window they come through, the table they roll through, and the floor section that they end up on. Everything else is packed. They miss a few people by inches.
I will
and
say
that's
this.
going on all over the city the whole time.
I will say that Superman should have hit Zod as hard as he could and taken the fight in the upper atmosphere at least.
Yeah, that's what would happen in the comic or in any, literally any other aspect of Superman.
Also, when the Abomination is formed, when they make Doomsday, right? Is it Doomsday? When they make Doomsday, because it's not even really clear. It's that movie's such a mess. When they switch jobs and Batman does what Superman should do and Superman does what Batman should do, and they make the Abomination, and Superman and the Abomination are fighting, when they give the order to nuke them and fire the nukes, they had been going away from the Earth for 4 or 5 minutes. Germ, do you attack a threat that's leaving? Or we don't want to give them any reason to come back. Am I right?
Yeah, that part didn't really make any sense.
And they launched that nuke in 4 minutes? They're just okay, let's do it. It was like they were looking for an excuse.
Well, they were looking for an excuse because it was in the script and it had to happen some point, but it couldn't happen over the city. So they just winged it. Completely ignoring the fact that they're on course to throw that thing into the sun. So why nuke it at that point? The sun is a much bigger nuclear firestorm than whatever you got. And that's right, Gorilla. Anywhere is American airspace if you drop enough, let's say kaboom boom.
I agree. And I think that we will all be better off when we make it Earthica.
I prefer the United States of Earth.
Well, then we're going to have to rule with the iron fist to a certain extent.
The question is, will Texas go to war with Mexico?
You give them a good enough reason, I would not put it past Texas.
That's just how we'll start. In the end, all will be brought into compliance, and we'll have that nice double-eagled flag and nice golden guy on a throne that in 10,000 years turns into a whole religion.
Yeah, all hail the God Emperor, according to Germ.
That's exactly how it's going to turn out. Why did they nerf the new Superman? Oh, that's easy, Daniel. They can't have a strong man on screen. He has to be inherently flawed in every way, shape, and form they can, so the woman can make him better.
To be fair, it looks like they reverse nerfed him just a little. I don't think he'll have dignity, but I think it's probably better than it was.
And Superman does have a weakness. It's called kryptonite.
Yeah, but they haven't mentioned kryptonite in any of the trailers or anything. It's he's just a little bitch, and he has to go to Lois for basically therapy.
When he started crying and yelling at Miss Maisel about how he stopped the war and he was the best and he got all emotional and bitchified, I wanted to fucking puke. How about you?
Yeah, that Superman doesn't justify his actions.
Well, no, he does. It's just that he doesn't fall to pieces, become a crybaby, and start yelling and screaming that you need to understand and respect his choices more. He's just like, you know, Superman in that situation. First of all, I don't think he would have imposed his will on people. But let's just say he did. In that situation, Superman's response is just like, I couldn't let them hurt each other. I know that you feel differently, but if you had been there and seen the hatred in their eyes, you would have tried to stop it too. You know, that's Superman's answer. I have been saying this for a while, and I think maybe Germ and Dan might agree with me. I think that those animated series that a lot of us grew up on, or that some others of us got to see and really enjoyed, redefine Superman and Batman properly, and that those are the best versions of them ever, and that it's an impossible bar that has ruined all subsequent projects.
Yes, I would say
this. Possible bar.
I would say
it's a nice stable level for them to set.
Who's come close? Batman 89's before.
Well, Batman 89 is kind of where it all jumps off, because they based the Batman animated series off of Batman 89.
Right, but the foot comes up a lot off the darkness, and from time to time they're willing to do something that Batman 89 and Batman Returns won't do, because we don't count the Schumacher movies, right? They won't do is humor. We had good humor in the Batman TV show. Condiment King. Or the guy who cuts off the Joker and he calls him like 30 years later.
So, who's having a nice hot rod they're riding in, or a motorcycle they're doing?
That's my neighbor.
Batman only has like a fucking muscle car now too, and that last the Batman movie. I'm glad that we're not getting a movie of that, but I guess what'll happen now is there'll be a season 2 of the Penguin that'll suck because they won't know what to do, and they'll try again to reload a movie out of that, or season 2 of Penguin will have the Batman in it.
Well, as far as I hear on the internet, Penguin was a one-off show unless they are redoing it for a second season. But as far as I hear, it was a one-season one-off show, wasn't it?
It was supposed to be.
It was supposed to be, but the goal of the show was to get a second Batman movie, which didn't happen. The show well regarded, the movie considered shit. They're gonna try. Why wouldn't you now then say, okay, hey, that show, you want to do another season?
That, and they have that Clayface show.
Matt Reeves isn't totally gone.
He really should be. Just let him fade away. The Penguin was okay. It kind of redeemed the Batman movie a little bit, but still, no need to try to build off it.
Another one. Yeah, that and
let
the problem with
Gunn build off of. Let him try with Superman. If that goes okay, let him move on to the next project, and maybe you can tie them together in another 10 years.
Who should play Batman, and why is it Brandon Sklenar?
He just has the look. You see him, he believes you're going to amorally kick your ass and to the point where he's not going to kill you, but you'd wish he had.
Honestly, who's a better Batman? The guy who plays Reacher or Brandon Sklenar? I'm going to say Brandon Sklenar because Reacher is more like Punisher material.
He's way too big because he's like 6'5".
He's fucking huge. And he's got
6'5"
muscles on top of his
almost
muscles.
300 pounds. He is
with no body fat.
He's closer to Bane than anything. He'd be a good Bane. I just put the mask on him, and it's basically him already. If he can get a Colombian accent, he's good.
Speaking of masks, what did you think of the hyper-realistic mask from the Minnesota shootings?
I didn't look that up. Did they ever catch the guy?
Yeah, they got him, and his name is Boltar. Believe it or not. Yep, nope, can't make it up. His name is Boltar. And you just do yourself a favor because you're going to want to share it unless you want me to find it. You tell me. Minnesota shooter hyper-realistic mask. It is between that and the fake cop car.
Yeah, go ahead and see if you can find it.
Yeah, I'll get it for you. You have to see this. Hyper-realistic masks are what this was so much more like disturbing and weird than anything I've ever seen in my life. And the picture of him wearing it is just something.
Let's see if I missed any chats.
I got it. I'll have it in one more second. You don't mind? Do you mind if it's from CNN? I'm sorry.
Yeah, who cares?
I can't.
It's all CNN.
The Guardian has it too.
Oh, he works for Waltz. Waltz did the dumbest thing and went and scrubbed all the social media he did praising the guy.
Who's
Waltz?
Oh, yeah, that's not going to draw all sorts of attention.
Yeah, for what I hear, Waltz is now in hiding because he doesn't want to take responsibility for that. The typical Democrat.
Waltz
he should have been in hiding the second that election was over.
That's in contradiction to what I heard, but okay. I heard Waltz was on the list, but here he is in his hyper-realistic mask. You've got to see this. Is that unfucking canny or what? And that is the least disturbing picture. There are ones that are so weird. It has like a shiny orangish latexy quality. What he
That
did was he
looks like,
didn't build features onto it. That's what it looks like blank. You then like if you're a makeup artist, you thread like eyebrows onto it, give it like 5 o'clock shadow, and put like hair. Like
yeah, that is
it's uncanny.
that is especially
it's featureless.
creepy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's featureless.
It looks
you know what?
like Robin Williams, sort of.
It looks like William Shatner. You know what? I will say this. I do not care what side of the political aisle these people are on. This guy is a total fucking Looney Tune. We're not going to be able to identify him with any kind of political beliefs because he is so fucking crazy. I mean, if you look at this picture and you say, look at that leftist or look at that MAGA activist, there's something wrong with you. This guy is a mentally ill killer. Yeah. Actually, he's a spree killer, but yeah. I see a mentally ill spree killer, and it doesn't. That's like being what that. How do I say this? To call this guy some kind of dangerous leftist or some kind of MAGA maniac is like saying, "Well, I respect so and so more because they were a heterosexual pedophile. They weren't a same-sex one, like they're a little more on. Like it's no difference. You're just a freak."
It's Robin Williams come back from the dead, straight out of the grave.
I don't see the Robin Williams. I see it being uncannily featureless. Like,
well, yeah,
really
he was
uncanny how featureless is.
The last few years of his life, Robin Williams was looking blank. It's like he had the same hair because it was a piece, but the rest of his face is colored, trained, everything smoothed out.
He had started shaving again. He didn't have the big wild man beard.
Yeah. He looked like he was dead for a year before he died.
This is very Friday the 13th. He is creepy as hell.
Off the screen.
Yeah, I got it. Okay, you got it. He is really creepy as hell. Yeah, like this is a level of insanity that gets him out of stuff. Like if he had done something sexual, like and it had been like same sex, like you would not call him gay. You'd just be like, this guy is a freak, right?
I mean, call him Freddy Cougar.
What I'm saying is like it's not like, oh, he's a heterosexual sex criminal. No, this guy's just a criminal. He's absolutely there's no need to appellate or give any sort of qualifications to him. What he is, he may have had a certain philosophy, but he was completely insane. And by the way, watch both philosophies get assigned to him. It's already happening, isn't it? Has he not been already called both?
Everyone's trying to pin the other guy on him.
And he's not a little bit one or the other. He's either pure like fire-breathing MAGA or totally freaking melted liberal. He's not anything. He's not just some disaffected guy. Everyone's like, yeah, no. He's like a Mossad plant liberal.
I don't think he's even a affected like that. I think he's just crazy, and he wanted to go kill somebody, and that's how he chose to do it.
Oh yeah,
he's a Freddy Cougar type. And instead of Freddy's targets, he went after slightly less innocent targets.
Here's what I'm saying. We shouldn't go after each other or other Americans or assign a philosophy to what this fucking piece of shit did. Because we've got both sides being blamed. And right now, he's a walking Epstein list. No one knows what he's about because everyone's saying everything, so there's no knowing anything. The other side of the coin is, while this guy is a douchebag, he's alive. So in a few months, we'll know what his motivations are. We're going to know. There's no need to worry about it. But more than anything else, he's just a nut. If he's a nut who liked Trump or a nut who was in love with Tim Waltz, he's a nut. If he did this in the name of Kiss, it wouldn't be any different. Am I right?
I think he's really in love with Tim Waltz.
Yeah, and
he might be working his way up. Go ahead, Dan.
And I'll just say this. I'll repeat a phrase that Germ keeps on saying once in a while. They should reopen asylums or build more asylums for people like this.
Maybe put him under the asylum.
It seems like he had flown under the radar for quite some time. His roommate was shocked. By the way, how great was it that his roommate did the entire interview with his Papa John's shirt on? Way to go, buddy. I congratulate you.
Yeah. Exactly, Gorilla. We don't need that many asylums. We need more gallows. Just because he is on the list doesn't mean he didn't work for him. I guess that's true.
It does mean he didn't like him, though.
I will
I
say
have a
that.
hard time believing anyone actually likes him.
And
Look, Tim Walt's a fucking weirdo who's never getting my vote, but I don't think anyone should go around trying to delete him.
And I will say this: in the media on both sides, there are, well, both Germ and you may agree or disagree with this, but mostly agree, hopefully. There are extremists on both sides of the political spectrum, but more so it's the left side of the spectrum that gets more attention than the right side
Well,
that response.
I
yeah,
don't know what you
because
mean as far as more scrutiny. I think they skate on a lot more weird fucking shit.
they feel more free about it and they're more open about their insanity. Thus, they commit far more incidents of insane extremism
And also, it's
because they're
rightly
tolerated.
illegal. Right. Also, the government rightly tracks left-wing extremist groups, but it's illegal to track groups that identify as right-wing extremists. It's illegal to classify groups on the right as extremist.
Yeah, but then to answer me this, how do you define extremism? Because some people, especially,
That is fucking hilarious. I'm sorry, I have to laugh. That's great. You got.
be very, very quiet. I'm talking wabbits here. Well, as I was saying, how do you define extremism, T? Since from what people around the world say, the U.S. was funding on extremists with the religious extremists from the 16 and 1500s coming into America, escaping religious persecution and other persecutions because their beliefs were too extreme even for them back then. And then they had to come over to America and practice their own stuff. So people say that those were more extreme than what they had back then. So we're a nation founded on extremism. We are.
What we just need to do is finish breaking up the government, dissolve the army, and get rid of the last vestiges of all government, and we'll be fine. The problem is things like the Department of Energy, the Department of Education, the FBI, the police, the fire department, they all need to go.
Yeah, why not?
If we get rid of all those things, I would have enough money to buy a fire truck and park it next to my building. And I would just buy a personal guard with the savings and taxes. I would just have a personal bodyguard. Or how about this? A drone with a machine gun on it. I can afford that.
Hell, you can get one of those now.
I just want the dissolution of all civic organizations nationwide. I mean, libraries, police departments. I want the FBI gone, the military. Let's just disband it all. It's a waste of money. If we have a real problem, Americans with guns will go out there and defend this country. The Army's a waste of money. The Air Force and the Navy and the Marine Corps, well, I mean, they're nice. I mean, they're fun. I'm sure the parade was fun, but we don't really need them. We're Americans. We could just go out there and fight. I think, isn't there something like 4 guns for every American? If we share, we'll all be well armed. We'll have 2 each. It'll be fine.
It is 123 or 125 guns for every 100 Americans.
We need to start working on that and get that up higher so that we can dissolve all the police departments.
And Tegan, I will say this, half jokingly, half being serious, for your defunding all the civil services. What is a library nowadays? Because people don't know what a library is nowadays.
Might actually be a place where people go to talk to their. I would say a lot of illegal shit goes on in the library. I guess they have to keep blanking out the computers, right?
It's a homeless shelter here.
It's kind of a little bit on the edge of a homeless shelter here too. It's sort of where you go to try to it serves one viable purpose. There are some people who just don't have any computers using it to try to apply for jobs.
Yeah, I
It's
feel
not
bad
like
for those guys trying to get computer time in between the homeless guys trying to search porn.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you have an Obama net. But that and Obamacare, and also the Congress needs to go to. Congress is a
Oh
waste
yeah,
of
we
fucking
definitely get rid of
time.
Congress. Let's get rid of
Yeah,
Congress.
both
Let's get rid of the
houses.
Senate. I would
I think if we could
preferably let's
end
have a
Trump's,
luau and march them into the volcano.
I think honestly, if we could end this term of Trump with him wishing away the presidency and just ending all governance over this nation whatsoever, we would be exactly where we need to be. And then there would be no more taxation, and we'd be set. We would just be set. That's my hope. I hope that at the end, where there's like, after he wishes away the courts and Congress and everything else and the FAA, he's like, and I wish away the presidency, and then he just ends, steps down, and that's it. There's no more America, just like an area. We call it the area, like the United States of area, and I think it would be better.
Yeah, Earl has a good point. Those numbers are all low because there's an unfortunate wave of boating accidents and hunting accidents. Guns are destroyed left and right in this country.
That's sad. I mean, really,
Completely gone.
that's sad.
Not a scrap left. And you know it's true because that's what they told the police. The gun was completely destroyed, and it is definitely not buried in the back of the freaking garage, waiting for the day that they try to come for you.
There's no way my dad's handgun collection is within reach here in my house. Those guns all disappeared in that robbery attempt where nothing else was taken, and there was no sign of forced entry. He just at the end of his life sometimes forgot to lock the door.
Yeah, that's tragic. Losing all those guns like that.
You know what it was? He had left them on the table because he had just gotten done cleaning them, and he went out to just get some soda.
Damn shame.
Yeah, it was right before he passed away.
Got a couple of local libraries near me. Haven't been there in a while. That's probably for the best, Daniel. You got a functioning internet connection, so you have everything the library has to offer.
Yeah,
and you don't have to be around smelly homeless people who probably just pissed in that chair while they're trying to get illegal porn.
I'm not gonna lie, my library's okay.
And that is one of the downsides about the internet or libraries nowadays. Everything is available on this wireless free, so-called free service, the internet, and we're able to access all kinds of information, even more so than what the library has. And libraries, well, call me a cynical bastard, but have become obsolete in the past, at the very least, 40 years probably.
I wouldn't go back that far. I'd certainly go when the internet got really prevalent. Probably 2000. Yeah, 20 years. That's a good.
What we need to do is get rid of the physical copies of all the books so we can rewrite them the correct way.
Oh yeah, then we'll have the Fahrenheit 451 situation.
Actually, the new title is called Freedom 154. And 4891, the story about non-Orwellian society where people are remembered all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
The Ministry of Lies.
If you ever do have the chance, read the book Fahrenheit 451. It's a lot better than any of the movie or television show adaptations they ever tried.
Is it Brave New World or Fahrenheit 451 where the guy runs away in the second half of the book? He kind of lives in the wilderness.
I believe that's Brave New World.
Both books are weird as shit. Fahrenheit 451 is a weird as shit book, but I got through it. I had to listen to it on tape. It's weird. The author keeps rereading it. So if you catch like an edition that's 25 years old, it'll be like the same nation that has had no less than 4 nuclear wars since the 1970s. And if you catch one from 10 years later, it's like no less than 4 nuclear wars since the 1990s, and now it's like no less than 4 nuclear wars since the turn of the 21st century. So it's weird. He keeps updating it and updating the language. But I guess it's him, right?
Yeah. It's been probably a good 20 years since I read that book. So
I'm up to like
the
6 or
details
7.
are.
I did a reread of all basic sci-fi dystopian novels during the 20 time between 2020 and 2023. What do you think brought it to mind? I can't even imagine.
Yeah, the nationwide prison sentence.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, we got that one. Let's make sure got all the chats. Yep.
I gotta be honest, the library near me isn't so bad. If they didn't give most magazines away for free, it would probably be useful. And every once in a while, I will go there and like spend an hour looking at new titles and see if I want to order something from Amazon. Sort of like my browsing section for Amazon.
Yeah, that's pretty much all the real worth is. If you can't find it free online, you get it free from the library.
And also, oh, happy day. It's all over for Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Although I guess we will be watching the final season. Krimlon is going to join the panel for reviewing for reviewing Strange New Worlds. He's going to watch it too.
Yeah, I haven't seen any new Star Trek stuff besides the premiere of season 5 with episodes 1 and 2 with that live stream with your Tegan. And I found that show extremely dull and boring.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
beyond that,
I
don't care for new Star Trek at all.
I gotta be honest. Section 31, people acting like it was so much worse. Like they've made worse. I'm not saying it was good, but I'm just they have made worse than Section 31. That was not their worst story, and it was as bad as everyone says. It's just that they are really good at bad stories. I don't know what to tell you. Germ, back me up here.
Yeah, you're right. It doesn't quite sink to the levels of making the entire cast sing for a whole episode.
Maybe this was the worst simply because it was longer than any episode. It was like close to 2 hours. That might be what made it the worst because it was the longest. But I mean, they have had worse. They have had much, much worse.
And I will say this, just by us saying this, I can hear it in the background in the room scene with Dan's Hot Topic scene. You guys suck. New Star Trek is awesome.
No one says that.
Yeah. No one. Even Daniel admits that it's not up to where it should be.
Yeah, Daniel will watch it and he'll like enjoy it to a degree, but like he knows it's not the same. He's not naive. I've talked to Daniel about this one. He knows it's not as good. And there's nothing wrong with if you want to watch it. I have always said go ahead and watch it and enjoy it if you want. And everyone has been really cool about me not liking it. And even some people who like it are part of my audience. Like either my rants are funny or it's fun to watch the show and then hear my perspective on it. And then you rethink it. I don't know what the process is that brings people to me, but keep coming. I'm happy about it. It's weird. I think Germ can validate this. I have the single biggest watch parties for New Trek, and I might be the single biggest independent New Trek person as far as I will talk about it. Who's bigger?
Your channel is the biggest thing pushing Trek that isn't corporately backed.
I am
the only other thing pushing the Trek culture is the only other channel that I've seen that,
and that is nonsense. Close. And that is hurtful to Star Trek.
They are literally a PR company paid for.
It says CBS right there in the banner.
Yeah.
Well, Secret Hideout through CBS. I think CBS. There's yet another layer. I found a new pro Star Trek outlet that's putting on subs like left and right with its praise of the new Star Trek. And their whole mission is to sell us on the idea that Strange New Worlds is actually this great unappreciated show that we need to watch to understand and buy the DVD of. And I mean, these people who made these DVDs, they are such garbage people as far as the way they did business with other people. They drove those DVD companies out of business by making them honor like a contract that was made when Star Trek could move 100,000 DVD physical copies. No one moves all that many physical copies anymore because that's not where it's at. It's about streaming and getting a streaming copy. But they still there are so many stories of them breaking the arms of modeling companies, like Eagle Moss was destroyed by them. Breaking the arms of merch companies. A lot of the merch companies were destroyed by them. They will make you put out the merch for the failed show anyway. And they will not back off on how much you make. So when you go under, they absorb you, they take your stock, and they're the ones selling off the Star Trek Discovery stuff. And I posted in the group chat, I don't know if Germ saw it, but did you see all the stuff I found, all the toys and all the stuff from Trek 09 that I posted in the group chat? Still
I
out
saw
there.
some of that.
And it was from Amazon. Still out there.
Used to defend Strange New Worlds as not that bad. Yeah, that was a mistake, girl. Anson Mount.
How did you make Anson Mount angry?
How did you do that, girl?
Anson Mount, I have gone after Anson Mount like 5 or 8 times, but the thing is, I don't make it personal. I'm like, I just kind of disagree, Anson. That's a messed up thing to say. That's how I talk to Anson Mount. And by the way, Anson Mount has actually liked my comments when, like, for instance, he said, like, you know what? I'll never be as good as William Shatner. It's an honor to be in this story. I'll respond to that positively, and he'll like that comment. So he's aware of me.
Oh, so it wasn't personal. It was a general fuck you.
Wait, so when he said that he's... Oh, yeah. I don't know if his was as bad as other people's. Like, honestly, it's a spectrum. Compared to Tim Russ, he's only modestly affected. Germ knows I'm right.
Yeah, Tim Russ is kind of nuts.
Tim Russ is far worse.
And I will say this: people may say Strange New Worlds is not as bad as the current new Trek, but then when you have,
it really is.
I would say if you have 2 bad shows with Discovery and Picard, and then some other shows that are kid friendly or people don't really watch that much, they're cartoons, and Star Trek fans, even the most pessimistic or angry ones, will watch Strange New Worlds to get some sort of resemblance to Star Trek in general. They probably say Strange New Worlds is at best okay, at worst just bad for them.
No, they've been selling this softly for a long time. It's kind of like Trump's presidential campaign the last time around, like how he just kept running for 4 years. They have quietly on the outskirts of town been having their little rallies where they've been saying, like, this is actually a good show. This is, people like have just missed it. Oh, it didn't get the chance it deserved. Oh, like it's not connected to Star Trek Discovery. And none of that stuff's true. It's a very bad show. It didn't make it. It's horrible. It's a horror story. It can't be shown on regular TV. It's not episodic like they say. They never ever go to a planet. It's a terrible show, and it hasn't been seen by people because people run away from watching it, and they're just counting on the idea that people forgot about it or they think the show that they didn't want to watch was Discovery. So they're going to make their money. They'll drive the merchandise companies out of business, seize their assets, and sell them off, and have a little bit of income for the rest of their lives. Is how they're just the most cynical and horrible business people.
On the plus side, Tim Russ has unblocked me.
Ooh, yay!
Is he running for office?
Who knows?
He's
weird enough to try.
Tim Russ has not blocked me. The one person who is not woke but does not like Trump is Armin Shimmerman. He showed no TDS. You saw the whole interaction. Armin Shimmerman simply had a point of view. He didn't come at me and I didn't challenge him. You saw how I talked to him. I talked to him nicely. and he responded to me very nicely as well. And he held to his point of view, and he acknowledged that I might, but he also acknowledged that I might be right. And he just said that he enjoyed expressing himself, and he wasn't going to take anyone to task. And I viewed that as an extremely positive interaction, and then I think no worse of him, even though he believes what he believes. What did you think of that interaction, if you remember it?
Both of you were very civil.
Yeah, people should be more like that. He was cool. Armin Shimmerman's someone I kind of like, just if he feels different about me about something. What did I even say to him? Like, do you really think you could change anyone's mind? Isn't it baked in at this point? He's like, you're right. I may not change anyone's mind. It was really cool. And then he got to talk to him a little bit. He was a nice person. I like Armin Shimmerman, even though he doesn't have the same beliefs as some of the ones I have. Doesn't make him a bad guy.
That makes sense. It sounds vaguely familiar, but I mean, call me a hermit, but who is that exactly?
Quark from Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
Yeah. No wonder I heard that name before. He's Quark.
Yeah, Gorilla. Tim Russ had me blocked for at least a good 6 months there.
He is such a weird fucking guy.
I think I may have been on a list of somebody who pissed him off. Because at times he does just chain block everybody on... Like if Doomcock or Nerdrotic says something, he'll just block their entire list, and then his assistant gets around to clearing up one of his temper tantrums and undoes what he did. Either that or he realized it was a horrible idea and does it himself, but I'm not going to give him that much credit. Still trying to get the prize and have Brooklyn Dad 43 to block me. I don't even know who Brooklyn Dad 43 is, Gorilla.
He's a fucking loudmouth liberal guy. He's just like a fucking ex-influencer. He's up there like around like 1 million followers. He's liberal cat turd.
So he's not the guy who was dangling his kid in front of an alligator?
That's Steve Irwin. And he paid for that.
Yeah, of all the things to get him is a stingray.
I don't mean this in the wrong way, but you can assess it. Ready? If anybody was going to be killed by an ostensibly peaceful animal because he invaded its space and was being a rude dick to it, it was going to be that guy. I'm sorry. I don't have anything against him, but what he was doing was weird performative grabbing of wild animals.
Tried to sell his kids for crack. That's bad even for a liberal.
Listen, man, Vance's mom has changed since she did that. Right? That's what we're talking about, right?
Well, if she's Brooklyn Dad 43.
Oh. No, but Vance's mom did that too. Okay. Yeah, no, Brooklyn Dad 43 said that. I muted him so long ago. He's just this loudmouth liberal. Eddie from NYC is a lot more fun. Follow Eddie from NYC.
Yeah, I got enough of those types in this town to start worrying about any of the others.
Brooklyn Dad Defiant, Brooklyn Dad 493, whatever he's called, is the same guy.
No, I got neighbors who are like that. I got congressmen who are like that. He wrote a book and he put that in his book. He admitted to trying to sell his kids for crack in his book,
Who?
Brooklyn Dad 414, Brooklyn Dad, whatever it is.
What a dick!
I will say this: that's either a complete fiction or that is totally fucked up by him.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a real. I don't think the person that's tweeting it is anything like what they say they are. I think it's 4 or 5 different political activists who just pass a fucking phone around. That's crazy shit. That's like, also, by the way, why would you tweet that out considering there's, in the state of New York, no statute of limitations against crimes committed against children, which means that he's just confessed to something he could be arrested for at any minute. Any minute.
Surprised they didn't try.
Yeah, but then again, he probably would say, "Oh, it's a fictional book. I made it up." He'll play that excuse.
Yeah, and then he perjured himself.
Well, I mean, no, they didn't purge himself in the book, but what they would do is they would throw his kids on the stand.
Yeah.
Then if he was really a messed up abusive parent, his kids will spill the beans on him.
Yeah, he's right. Gorill's right here. Look, no, the DNC pays him and Joe and Harry Season like $1,500 for shit posting a bunch of stories on X. I'm assuming like a week, or is it $150 a year? Yeah, that sounds about right. By the way, though, I consider this fair play, and do we really think that our side doesn't do it too? Germ, is there people who don't just, like, cat turds getting paid?
I wish the RNC was that smart.
I think the RNC is much smarter than the DNC.
No, but I really doubt the RNC is paying guys like Cat Turd because unfortunately, they're just not
too
bright
effective
enough to do. Yeah, it's too effective. They never do something that
They're
intelligent.
right on message. But the thing is, the Republican Party is known for notorious for being on message together and moving sort of in lockstep when they want to. And the Democrats are sort of notorious for failing over and over to be able to do that. And that seems to be their biggest problem. That and their terrible leadership seems to be their biggest problem.
Yeah, the Republicans are always in lockstep. And the unfortunate part is they're all trying to go in separate directions.
Yeah, and
well, no, they'll run roughshod over the Dems before they go crazy against themselves first. They'll get a couple of things done. The Democrats get nothing done. They get reverse progress.
And I will say this: the only thing that makes the Democrats very very successful is all the money that they have in their pockets or their backers. From what I hear or see, the Republicans don't have that much money, and they have to spend it wisely. Meanwhile, the DMs have however much money they want, because the majority of their backers have them in their pocket, or their politics lean in that direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Democrats at large are a lot more disciplined and keep everyone in house. The Republicans are
calling it right now. They're going to lose the midterms, or they're going to it's going to be a push. They're going to have the least effective midterm election ever. This is the lowest point in the history of the United States for the Democratic Party, which has been around as long as, maybe longer than the United States. The Democratic Party's lowest moment was, "We won't quit. We will fight." That was the lowest moment in the history of the United States as a democracy. That was absolute failure. It was a disgrace. Charles Schumer is a disgrace. That is no way to run an opposition. That is no way to be a principled politician. That was pathetic. Weakness. Despicable.
Go ahead, Dan.
And what does his opponent have to offer?
What opponent?
Whose opponent?
Chucky has no opponent.
I think he has been removed as head of the Democratic Party and replaced by New York's Hakeem Jeffries, another New Yorker, but
the wrong house. Hakeem Jeffries is.
I know he's House of Reps, but I think he's
House of Reps, and Schumer is the
Hakeem
leader
Jeffries
in
is
the
New
Senate.
York.
He is? I thought he was California.
Yeah. No, he's New York City. He's not a senator, but I believe he will replace either Chuck or Gillibrand. The next two senators from New York are going to be. They're going to try to make it Hakeem Jeffries, and they're going to try to make AOC.
That's going to be scary. You'll have
She's
two
not as
senators with
insane
the,
as the. She's not as insane as some of the other people out there.
yeah, but you're going to have two senators with the combined IQ of a freaking apricot.
Cucumber. Here's the thing, Mr. Jeffries represents one of the first ever and original voting districts in the United States. He's the New York 8th district. So that district has voted in every single election throughout American history. It's just a storied thing to be. He's a Manhattan, New York City rep.
Up right again, Gorilla.
Yeah,
It is
no,
not
he is
Hakeem Jeffries.
discount Obama. Or Obama is like high rent Hakeem Jeffries. You're right. The thing is, compared to the other people in his party, he is far less dumb than some of the rest of them. And I'm not saying he's any kind of genius, but if you look at the insanity he's surrounded by, like by virtue of the fact that he's staying in office in New York, he's unelectable in California. I don't think the Democrats can stay together. I see a regional split. I don't see the New York people embracing some of these crazy gender affirming things, but those things now as we've heard, seem to be going away. So the New York may never have had to deal with it. Well, I mean, if we all we did was say it was gross and look away, it seems to have worked, right?
Yeah, we just have to get, especially out west here, have to start putting pressure and even to the point of tar and feathering certain governors named Bob.
I don't understand what it is about the left coast and the Midwest where you guys are all woke and crazy. Here, people have to make money and survive. That shit doesn't go. There are weirdo, liberal, fucking whack jobs.
Oh, well, we have him here out west. It's called Gavin Newsom, too, in California.
Yeah, we can spare a little tar for him, too.
Whoopi Goldberg might be from New York. I think she might actually be, quite honestly, or like Paramus, New Jersey, but like she doesn't speak for anybody.
Whoopi Goldberg is not even her real name. It's a stage name.
That's fine, though. No one gives a shit about that. I think we always knew that.
Yeah. Because I don't think she went out and married a banker to get that name.
She would, though.
Oh, yeah.
Even though I don't think she plays for that team anymore either.
I mean, she married Ted Danza.
You know what, Germ? Her legs the size of your fucking body.
Hey, I have slimmed down. And she is about the size of a killer whale.
Her leg is bigger than my entire trunk of my body. When she crossed her leg, I was like, holy shit. We can free that nutcase from Minnesota and send him out west for you. Hey. Oh, the hyper-realistic mask guy? Germ, like, already has offered that guy a place to crash on his couch, right? Money for his defense, right, Germ?
Oh, Grella, you're too kind for us here out west, but you have to be more specific. Which state do you want us to take him in? Washington or California or Oregon?
I'll be magnanimous and say you guys can have him first. I'd like to see how it goes when they expose Gavin Newsom for being a member of the visitors race from V. Just peel back that skin and reveal all the scales.
It's weird that, like, Trump Jr.'s with his ex-wife.
Now, Grilla's trolling you, Germ. He is right now.
No, Germ agrees with that.
Yeah, I guess we can work our way down.
You got the first part right, Gorilla. He is a lizard.
Yeah. Well, Newsom is a lizard. Bob Ferguson, I wouldn't even qualify as that evolved.
I just know that you base most of your political opinions around your political true south, Patty Murray.
Yeah, she is the Wicked Witch of the West.
Yeah,
She
it
even looks
seems
like
like
the Wicked Witch of the West.
I looked at
Same
her views. They're
bad
exactly
teeth,
the opposite of
same
yours.
bad nose.
Her views were completely the opposite of yours.
Yeah, pretty much. That's why most of the tweets that I send her way have to get taken down.
Yeah, you have an FBI file and a
Yeah,
hyper-realistic mask.
he probably does. I will say this: out here on the West Coast, any center right or right wing party is basically out of power, or it's just controlled opposition. What Germ and I would agree to, they are.
Yeah. Most of the Republicans in this state used to be Democrats, and the only reason they're in the Republican Party is because the system falls apart if they openly show there is no opposition party. They literally run and get funded by the Democratic Party as a front to make it look like there's two people running.
And I will say this: I mean, you guys may call California a Democrat strong. I mean, it is to a point, but then there are genuine conservatives in California. There are. Same goes for Washington, and well, I'll get my soapbox for a second.
I don't believe the. I think the elections are rigged out west. I don't think they're fair anywhere except maybe in the tri-state area.
Yeah, but my point is that, well, I'm going to generalize here a little bit. Me and Germ would be considered on the West Coast either right of center or right wing. I myself would be considered, given my common sense viewpoints on it, everything, probably right of center because I'm not a Looney Tune crazy nut job here in California. Germ, given his political stance, he would be at best same position I am. If, well, excuse me for being at worst, you're a far right extremist.
I'm called a fascist loving dictator bootlicker pretty much on the regular.
I just hope I don't hit close to home with that, Germ. I'm trying to be polite to you right now.
No, I'm used to crazy people up here. People up here literally think Trump is the devil.
Yeah, I'm the only one who has relatively blasé, non-remarkable political outlook.
No, that particular drunken cunt gorilla is down near where Dan is, but Patty Murray is same. Well, not drunk, but she's just a witch. Same coven, though.
Similar kind of
They're both
vibe. Yeah,
witches.
they believe the same stuff. I've seen Germ say so many things that I've been looking up Patty Murray. I've been reading up on Patty Murray.
Yeah, she's like the third or fourth highest ranking Democrat in the Senate.
I think she's probably been the worst thing that ever happened to Puget Bay Sound, but that's just me.
One of. And she's been in office since I was in either first or second grade.
That's right. She was behind the Mount St. Helens eruption. That's how she sees power.
And I'll just come out and say it. I mean, for all of us, Germ and everyone, what are term limits with her? There are no term limits for her.
Well, we have to be able to strap that casket down with silver bars, christen it in holy water, and make sure it never leaves the sunlight. That's the only way we're going to keep her out. Oh, yeah, sure. We just need to get Van Helsing to do it.
Hey, when did Justin Verlander end up on the Giants? I thought he was in Texas.
Verlander's on the... Hey, no, he left Houston last year.
Dude, he must have just gotten traded again because he's on the mound for the fucking Giants.
I believe that is the team he went to. Because he was on Houston for like 7 years there, and then he went to the National League.
If only he had had the guts to be a real baseball player, but he had a thing in his contract that he would never be a Yankee. Just didn't have what it took.
Yeah, stand-up guy for that.
Piece of shit. Fuck Verlander. Because they jeered his girlfriend. Said the fans were too rude. He didn't want to play for that fan base.
I can't disagree because he was on the Astros for years and years, and he's the reason that the Mariners didn't make it to the playoffs several times, specifically.
He benefited from the cheating, and he must have known about it because he's a pitcher. So he was really involved.
That's the only thing I can explain. He's not particularly talented.
He cheated.
He was icing those balls, or
well, his team was stealing signs with photographic equipment and spy equipment.
Yes, they were. They
had a sophisticated communication system. They were stealing fucking all signs, and they were that World Series they beat the Yankees in should be reversed. The Yankees should get that pennant, or that pennant should be vacated.
And the funny thing is, they caught the Astros stealing signs and using a radio to talk directly to the pitchers. And now every team has a radio for the pitcher.
Except the messages are pre-recorded. And it's from the catcher. The catcher can send like any one of 6 commands by clicking his belt buckle.
Yeah, that's what they say, but I can guarantee you there's the little voice of the manager in there too.
I think it has to be the voice of a gay woman, but for representation. So that now there's a woman involved in every play. But no, it's because of the pitch stealing. It's so that no one can steal signs, and because of the pitch clock, which I think is very un-baseball. By the way, if you can steal signs without technical equipment, you should be allowed to steal signs. People do that all the time. It's when you cheat to steal signs.
Yeah, but if there's a runner on second and he's stealing the signs, that's your own damn fault.
You look inside the fucking catcher and you try to steal the sign, you're gonna get dusted. But that's baseball. We've lost that. I don't know about you, Germ, but I miss people getting drilled at the plate for looking inside the catcher. How about you?
Yeah, hitting a batter is an essential part of baseball.
It was very important. Yeah, it's extremely important to knock a few people down for looking inside at the sign. And we've lost that. We've lost those injuries. We've lost the fun music that they would play when people would be carted off the field or helped off with a concussion. And all the fun that people would have during those stoppages in play that have been taken away from us.
Yeah, the sacrifices they make for TV contracts.
That, and I can't believe that every single team is now an American League team as far as the DH goes. And isn't it just strange that it took till now? Cal Yastrzemski's son made it to the majors at 30.
Wow.
Well, 1, what perseverance? 2, he's not getting sent down. It's June, so he can do this. And I guess it just says, like, if you have enough money to keep trying, you'll keep developing. And now that he's at peak athletic skill, he'll have like a 3-4 year career. But Yastrzemski can have like a 3-year career, then go teach high school and never even have to have health insurance because he'll have it from the league.
Oh, good for him.
I'm assuming if I was a baseball player for only 3 years, I would go get that job so that I wouldn't go broke.
Yeah,
you're gonna get it.
Be smart.
You're gonna get the job of gym teacher at a high school.
When Rangers pitcher got hit in the face on the first pitch, and they started playing because you had a bad day.
Yeah, I remember that one. Or how about when Josh Hamilton murdered that fan by throwing the ball at him? That crackhead.
Yeah, that is a nice way to send off a pitcher with a concussion.
What, with the comebacker to the face?
Oh yeah, come back to the
Yeah.
face, and then they're
Oh,
carting
you
you
had a
off, and
bad
you
day?
had a bad day, and you're just staring up at the crappy roof of that stadium.
Face Dances by The Who would be the second best song to play. Little chin music.
Yeah, but we are way over time.
Yeah, I'm
We're gonna need
surprised.
to start getting over it.
What
Dan, what you
happened?
got coming up?
Alrighty, to all your viewers and panelists that know me and don't know me, Sci-Fi Sit Down should cover different sci-fi TV shows or movies. I'm currently on hold is my Dark Matter watch party, sadly due to my Real World job. And I do my live streams on my main channel, usually on Saturdays between 2 and 4 p.m. Pacific time. I do upload on my channel towards the end of the previous week or beginning of next week. I do cross streams with my fellow YouTube community members like Resolute German, Gorilla's random plots of the allotment. They usually do the nice guys about that. And I do have a secondary channel called War Sorcerer Dan. On that one, I cover Japanese anime or cartoons in general. We were doing the slime animation, but that's paused as well due to my schedule conflicts, and I may have to reschedule it. And that's all I have to say about my primary channels right now. I'll turn it over to T to give his quick cowboy promotions, saying howdy partner, signing off for you.
Please watch my new Star Trek video essay, Germs in It. It's got about 500 views. Give it a like, give it a watch it twice, think about the profound things we say. Enjoy the video essay part, enjoy the jokes. But I tell so many good jokes that I almost kill one of my co-hosts. You'll love it. You'll love it. And then go over the Rumble and listen to the full length one where we actually talk about how we feel, because there's a whole conversation about a historical event that we didn't want to talk about because it's just too fucked up. We can talk about it in a live stream, but you can't do uploads about 9/11. Not as seen through the lens of fiction.
Yeah, go make sure Sean survived the night. You can only find out in the upload.
He was on Tony's show last night. I was watching it a little bit while I was working and doing some editing. So he's alive.
Oh, that's good.
His face looks fine too. It's only red. I can't use that as an upload. One, because you had to be there is my feeling. And two, it's kind of mean. But three, I think he's bleeding. So if you're bleeding, isn't that immediately like glorification of violence or something, right?
Usually, yeah.
Yeah, so like we got away with it that night. Although it does look like he just has a really bad sunburn.
Yeah.
Yeah, so whatever. We there won't be an upload about that one, but come by my show. I'll make you laugh so hard you'll pass the fuck out. Or I'll choke you with the force, whichever I feel like doing. I'm not going to say how I did what I did, but I did it.
Well, Gorilla, if you have to think about it, do it. If you are questioning the tastefulness of this joke, it has to be funny.
Yeah,
It's going to be up for a grand total of 30 seconds, but for that 30 seconds, it'll be very funny.
Go for it, Harambe.
Yeah, the question is who is the joke going to be at whose expense?
Probably his own.
Yeah, he's a self-effacing sort, this gorilla.
Oh, you should see some of those shorts. The stuff that he's eating and drinking. I'm surprised his liver is still there.
Yeah, I think you get in trouble. You gotta be careful. I don't think you're allowed to purposely pull like a America's Funniest Home Videos where you accidentally harm yourself. Yeah, that's the problem, right, Gorilla? What you said there at the bottom. Unfortunately, like we all had like kind of there's this madman at the edge of YouTube town who's just a crazy man who runs around with road flares throwing them at people's channels. It's the only way to put it. He's from New Zealand.
Yeah, and he has a little buddy in Canada.
Yes, he does, but I wasn't going to say it. But I'm glad, you know what, if someone is going to say it, yeah. That guy's been inactive, though, so, like, as long as he's been nice, we won't say his name.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that he's being nice. Keep it up, honestly.
Yeah.
Good luck.
And
Seriously.
what episode are we watching this week on Saving Star Trek?
We're jumping ahead. You know what? Honestly, there's a discussion that has to be had by the panel. I'll ask you right now. We seem to have so much interest in the Enterprise Indy arc right now, like we never had before, that it seems like maybe we should do it. It's starting to look like we may have accumulated so many Enterprise fans that we run the risk of alienation. The thing is, when Landman comes on, I won't be under any pressure to make uploads for the original series. It'll be Landman uploads, Landman panel will happen, and then there'll still be the Star Trek show, but there won't be Star Trek uploads. That's why I'm making so many Star Trek uploads now.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I think you're right. The Xindi episodes have proven to be quite popular, beyond my understanding.
Behind my wildest beliefs, and I don't know. Here's the deal. We're going to keep going with it until it stops working. We have far too large of an audience. There were 1,000 views on the last, between the Xindi Expanse upload and the Xindi Weapon and Xindi Plan upload, 1,000 views. The episode, 600 or 700 views. The last 5 live streams, over 500 views. I don't know. We have to talk.
Yeah.
This week is Patterns of Force, though.
Oh, yeah. Celebrating your birthday.
We don't have to
Saturday.
decide. Yeah, it's Admiral Teague's 35th birthday.
Keep believing that.
You know what, Germ? This is my 35th year of the Red Bird. How does that sound? You know exactly what it means.
Yeah, that works.
That means that Teague is 7,000 years old. What was the year the Red Bird comes, what, once every 45 years?
Something like that.
I have seen 19 of the years of the Red Bird. And, like, Kirk's, like, not fazed by this. Like, all right, so he's, like, 30. And he's like, the year of the Red Bird comes only once every 268 years, Jim. He's 1,900 years old. His grandfather's well over 600,000 or whatever that's a great, crazy episode.
Yeah, that's
We're well away from that, but wow. Yeah, we have a lot. It's the thing is, the 300 people that joined off the last Xindi episode, like, how do we now?
Yeah, you just can't turn away from that.
We have to talk to Sean and JT about it. I think what it would be how about 2 and 2, so every other week?
That could work.
Because the TOS episodes, you figure each one of them is 2 or 3 uploads, and we could start blowing off making Enterprise uploads. However, if we continue with Enterprise and keep making Enterprise uploads, we will be the #1 recommended result by Google. Our Reddit posts of the show are already the top results for most of the episodes we've done. Whenever I've made an upload, it becomes the #1 search result every time.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Well, we're #1, Jerm.
Yeah. And, we'll have to figure that out in the future.
We got Saturday to figure it out, and we're gonna have a fun time on Saturday. I can't drink though. I'm gonna be on anti-fucking biotics. So next week,
I'll
drink
nice.
next week. Next week of the 4th of
on your
July.
birthday.
What are you gonna do? I needed that new tooth.
But we'll be back on Monday with Ghidorah, the 3-headed monster, for Monday Monster Watch Party. And we'll have another roundtable on Wednesday, and hopefully I'll have a couple of small uploads between now and then.
I can't wait for the monster movie. I've been learning a lot about kaijus.
Yeah, it's been doing quite well.
It's from the Kaiju Education Network, guys.
Exactly.
It's been. I look forward to those now. That's a lot of fun. You've taught me a lot of stuff too. You know your monsters.
Oh yeah, out drinking at 1K.
When Germ hits 1K, I will drink too. Although you're at like 800, right? You're getting close to 800.
Just about. I won't say what I'll be drinking, but I will drink something.
You should hit the like
Wait.
and follow buttons too, because 4 likes is just not enough for a man of his magnanimous bearing.
I was gonna be humble about it, but yeah, pump up those likes. Thanks for being here, everybody. Take care.